Oh my gosh, guys. Waterproof mask tutorial because you guys keep making me get my paper mask wet. Look at how flimsy and floppy this thing is because it's been wet so many times. Like, look at this. This is sturdy. Like, I'm pushing down on this right now. It is not bending. This is how a paper mask should be. It should be sturdy. It should not be floppy like this, guys. Stop making me get my paper mask wet. So I'm going to be making a waterproof mask, and I'm going to show you guys how I do this because I've done this one time before, but the shape didn't really turn out as I wanted it. So I'm going to improve the shape on this one, and I'm going to show you guys how I've been doing it along the way. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need yourself some paints. I have a bunch of bright colors. I'm using fabric paint. I do not have any like grays or browns in fabric paint, so I'm just going to be mixing colors to make those colors. So like, good rule of thumb is like purple and yellow makes brown, so I'm going to be using those for brown. I'm also going to be using yellow and orange for the eyes, and I'm going to be using black for the face because I want to make gray. I'm going to be using fleece. Now, to get like a fur texture on your fleece, you're gonna need like a wire dog brush. So when you like brush it out, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like, see where I brushed it right there? It's like the fibers are like going in one direction. So that's gonna kind of like make it look like fur. I'm using fleece because in my experience with making masks, you can use felt, but felt is pretty weak. And fur is like really thick and chunky, so like all that moisture is going to get trapped in the fur. Like this mask, completely made out of fur. Every time I've gotten this wet, every time you guys have made me get this wet, it has taken like 2 or 3 days to dry out because of the fur is just so thick. I am going to be using a little bit of fur. I do not have any out right now, but I am going to be using a little bit of fur on the edges just to make it look a bit poofier, but mainly I'm going to be sticking to fleece because it dries out easier, and we're trying to make this mask as waterproof as possible. Also, you can use acrylic paints for this. I've never had a problem with acrylic paints ever fading or washing away in the water, but they're not 100% completely waterproof. So for my for this tutorial, I'm going to be using fabric paint. Again, you can use acrylic paint if you need to, but fabric paint is just a little better, and something I actually forgot to get out. This is what I'm going to be using for the eyes. Now, I may or may not actually do eyes on this mask. Actually, I will do eyes because of this tutorial, and I want to show you guys everything that I can do, how I do everything. This is called buckram. Actually, it's called cross-stitch fabric on this, if that makes it easier. I got this from the Hobby Lobby, but I've ordered buckram. This same stuff that they use in like fursuit eyes and stuff. I've ordered it on Amazon. Wire dog brush. Of course, you're going to need some scissors. I have my template. I've made my template out of paper. This is the template I'm going to be using for the mask because obviously we don't want to make this out of a paper mask or else it'll turn out floppy like this. Yeah. We want to make it out of this stuff, which you can get at Walmart. If you're not in the United States and you don't have a Walmart, you could probably find this on Amazon or at a craft store, but I got this from Walmart. And of course a hot glue gun. Oh, and one more thing. You're going to need any thread. It can be like the big thread too. Like, this is the string I'm talking about. You can just use this string, pretty easy, or you can get it in like something like this. I'm just going to be using thread because that's what I usually use. And you're going to need a needle. If you don't want to use a needle, actually you don't really need a needle. You can actually do this by hand. You can use one of those big chunky plastic needles if you want, but basically the only reason we need a needle is for this stuff. So when we put this together, I'm going to sew mine together, and it has like these these holes in it. I've seen a lot of people using this material to do the eyes in their mask. I'm gonna just be sewing in those holes just to hold it together before we glue it. So we're gonna be like sewing it and gluing it. The heat from the hot glue gun will actually make actually melt like the two pieces together, which will make this even more sturdy. But I like to sew it, just hold it in place, just so I can so it stays still while I'm gluing it, because otherwise it's gonna want to move around and you're not gonna want to touch it while it's hot. I mean, some people could, but for my sake, for the sake of my fingers, I don't want to be touching fresh hot glue all day, because it's going to take a while to make this mask, and we're going to be using a lot of hot glue for this. So I would definitely recommend sewing it together. Obviously, you can just grab thread and push it through the hole. You don't have to use a needle. I just think the needle makes it a little easier. Then you're also going to need some either elastic or nylon for the straps. I'm going to be using the elastic because, again, it's what I'm used to using, and I feel like I can get it tighter on my head without being uncomfortable, because tightness is really going to be the key with this, because obviously you're going to be underwater, and if you're swimming, the water's thicker than air, so it's going to be like pushing up on your mask. It's going to want to make it come off. I'm also going to have like a chin strap just to make sure that doesn't happen. Or you could use nylon. You could actually make an adjustable strap out of this. I actually have the clips to make an adjustable strap, but I want to use the elastic still, just because that seems to work pretty well for like goggles. Like if you have goggles, like rubber, but it's like stretchy rubber. So I feel like the elastic is the way I'm gonna go here. Again, you can use nylon if you want, if that's what you have available, but I feel like more people are gonna find elastic easier accessible anyway, so I'm gonna use the elastic. Now I'm gonna be using I'm just going to be making a simple wolf mask. Now, if you want to add like anything else to your mask, go ahead. I mean, creative freedom. You might need like extra materials. This is just the materials that I'm going to use, the base materials that you'll need for any just plain regular animal mask. But if you want to like experiment with like different materials and everything, be creative. We're going to be using hot glue to make the nose. I'll show you how I do that, but let's just get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to trace out your pieces. You're going to want to just grab any marker, trace them out. My pieces are in halves. I'm kind of trying to do this with one hand because I need to hold my phone because I have absolutely nowhere to prop it up at. My pieces are in half, so I'm going to fold everything over. You don't need to give a lot of seam allowance. You can if you want. I'm going to give just a very little bit of seam allowance. But again, seam allowance is totally optional. Get over there. Seam allowance is like totally optional. It's not really needed, but definitely recommended, because once we cut this out, we're going to, like I said, sew it together, but we're going to need to find like, because some of the little holes will be like in half, so you're really not going to be able to grab onto it. You'll see when we get there. I'm bad at explaining things, but you'll see once we cut it out. So you're gonna just want to trace all your pieces like that. Also, the way I made this paper template is I took pieces of paper and I I taped them together. Like I cut out shapes and I taped them together to see what it would look like on a mask. I currently do not have this template for sale anywhere. I don't have a shop yet, but I will be getting one. We'll be making one soon. I don't know if I'm going to sell this template once I get a shop, but I definitely will have masks for sale. I definitely will have waterproof masks for sale if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so once you've got your pieces cut out, you should just end up with a bunch of pieces here. Now you're going to get your needle and thread, and you're going to start sewing them together as they go. And just so you guys know, I will put a picture of my template in the video. I'll probably put it in there right now. And you can also do this with any template. Like you get like a paper template online, like a paper mask template, and you could just make it out of this stuff instead and follow the rest of the steps in this tutorial, and it should come out as a waterproof mask. You don't have to make your own template, and you don't have to use my template. You can use any template and it should come out great, but you're going to take these pieces and you're going to start sewing them together. Now let me get you like a better view of this. So you see right here, right where my needle is, right here, there is a gap there. So obviously we can't put a thread through that. So we're just going to go to the next available spot, which is this one right down here. Just kind of try to do it as you go. I know it's going to be hard. It's going to be confusing. Just try to kind of like line things up a bit. If one hole is like cut out, go to the next hole, and etc, etc. But first we're going to start out by tying a knot. Also, I recommend, if you're using the thinner string like I am, to double it up, because it will try to break on you. But we're just going to tie a knot right here. If I can even get it without it being stubborn. Oh my gosh. Don't worry, it'll always be a mess. Actually, let me tie a couple of knots. There we go, that should be good. And then once you've got your first piece done, you can kind of try to connect your pieces. And just keep tying knots. So with every stitch, shall I say, you make, tie another knot. So like, don't pull it all the way through. I'm gonna try to show you here. Don't pull it all the way through, but leave like a hole. So like when you pull this string through, that string is gonna come up and tie to it. And now that's not really coming apart. Now it's going to stay together. Once you get your starting point done, the rest of it should be fairly easy. And also a good thing to do, which I don't do, it probably should do, it's like make little marks on your material just to know which parts should be together, like where the parts should go together. I don't do that. I can't remember what they're called. I don't do that. You don't have to do that. It's probably a good idea to do it though. But now you're just going to sew your pieces together. And this part is probably going to take a while. So I'll either do fast motion or just skip through the part so you guys don't have to watch it all. So whenever you start or finish a stitch, you are going to want to finish with a lot of knots, because this will come apart before you get a chance to glue it if you do not do that. So just make sure you're tying a lot of knots at the beginning or end of your stitches. And that seems to be, this piece is done pretty much. Oh my gosh, get off. It's gotten stuck on one of the little hangover pieces. There we go, got it. So yeah, just finish off with a bunch of little knots. I was so focused. And this is how this piece is looking. This is gonna be like right here probably. It's kind of hard to explain. You'll see when it's actually like on. You'll see when I actually finish the mask what it's gonna look like. Dropping things. Stop. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and finish sewing all of these pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and skip in the video to once I've finished sewing them. Okay, so that took forever, but I finished sewing everything and I've come up with this. So I actually noticed something when I was making my pattern, and I decided to make another mask. So I decided to experiment with it a little bit. I've actually already glued this mask. As you can see, this is what we're going to be doing. We're just going to be gluing along the seams. I have not glued the nose yet, but I'm going to just work on this mask. I'm not going to show the other mask in the video because that is going to be a special mask. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be based off of a character. So we're going to keep that mask a secret for now. And we're going to continue on with this one. So what I'm just doing is I'm just going to glue along all of these seams. I have not finished the snout on this one yet. I have it right here. I'm going to actually try just gluing the snout on and also the cheeks on. So it's gonna look, it looks a bit weird. It's kind of hard to hold it. It's kind of, you'll see once I glue it on. Hopefully it'll look a little better than that. That's why I decided to experiment with it. I mean, you never know what it's gonna look like until you actually try it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm just gonna time lapse the gluing part so you guys can see a little bit of what that's like. I'll actually do a little portion of it here on camera for you before I go to time lapse. So really, you just gonna glue all the way down that stitch line. Just like that. And now let it dry. Let it cool down. That's it. Simple as that. So I'm gonna continue the rest of this in fast motion. Okay, it's finished. It's absolutely, so I kind of just like cut off a big piece of the chunk because the snout was a big chunk of snout because the snout was way too long. It was making him look like one of those, and then I kind of just re-glued it on. Made it look a little bit more like a wolf. And now we have to do the ears. I don't think I showed you guys my reference photo, but I'm going to display it on the screen now. That's it. Look at how big those ears are. I want big ears. We're going to make big ears. I'm going to cut out stuff for big ears. Now, how big is big? That's what we want to know. I'm going to actually trace this on paper first, because I'm not going to be an idiot and waste more of my plastic mesh than I already have. So we're going to trace out the mask on the paper. I'll show you guys what I'm doing in a minute. So I have the mask on the paper and I kind of just traced around the edge there. And now that we've traced around the edge, I'm just going to draw an ear shape that looks very similar to my reference photo, of course. Now, the wolf I'm making right now is a gray wolf. It's a Eurasian wolf, and this is what I usually do for my ears. For the Eurasian wolves, they're kind of more set back, like leaned down, more relaxed. And this one is more of like a scared look, like they're really far back, like kind of like a timid look. So those are my Eurasian wolf ears, and they're not as big, but look at this. Look at how big this is gonna be. Big ears, big pointy ears for my new mask. Like these ears are like sticking up straight on they're like sticking up like this on the reference photos. So I want to continue. I want to capture that essence. I actually want to go look at the photo. Hold on. Okay, so I just got a better look at my reference photo, and I'm actually going to make this ear a little bigger, a little bit more rounded. because I want to be able to fold this over, kind of like how it looks in the reference photo. So we're gonna do this, but you see this part of the ear is gonna like fold over. I'll cut it out and show you. Because our reference photo kind of had like the profile of the wolf, but the ear is kind of gonna look like this. Yeah, like the reference photo. Hold on, let me get to the other side. There, that's a better look at it. See, doesn't that look like the reference photo? Doesn't that look like a wolf? Let's just test it out in the mask really quick. This is the best example I can give you. I think that's much better. Right there on the head. I'm actually gonna mark this. Where's the marker? Marker! Open sesame. There we go. Right there. And the end of the ear is about where this actually already is. We're just gonna fold the tape over. I'm gonna cut out 2 of these. And then I'm going to sew and glue them to the mask like I did the rest. So how I'm gonna do these is I'm going to sew just this flat part where it meets, but this curved part, I'm probably gonna glue. I got the ears done. Eek! Okay, I'm in a robe now because I actually just took a bath and I don't have my ears anymore, but mask continue. Oh my gosh, I just realized that I'm actually like completely done with the base. What do I want to do next? Do I actually want to do the eyes, or do I want to felt this first? Or I guess it wouldn't be considered felting since I'm not using felt. Also, just so you guys know, I'm not like completely against using felt because it's weak, because this mask was made with felt. Like, I'm not against felt. Like, it's not weak if you're putting it on a paper mask, but for something like this where it's gonna be like underwater and everything, I just wouldn't trust it. I think I'm going to start with the eyes though, because the eyes need to have time to dry. The paint needs to have time to dry before I can continue with the mask. I'm also going to plug in my hot glue gun again because I need to show you guys how to do this hot glue nose. I'm going to cut out this little tiny rectangle right here. One eye and 2 eye. These are 2 eyes. So these are going to go in like this. See, it's like perfect sized. We're gonna want to put those in like right after we're done with the felt or our fleece. So we are going to go ahead and paint these right now. Paint palette and paint brushes. A lot of paint brushes. I need to mix colors now. Give me the orange or yellow. Let's do yellow. Shaky because I haven't used this in so long. Let's try. Okay, not bad. And purple. I think you can actually use orange and blue as well to make brown. We'll see what kind of brown this makes because it's kind of like a neon purple. Oops. If this doesn't work, I'll probably try to use orange and blue. Use this brush to mix them around with. Are you going to make brown? You're making like orange. It's making like orange. Actually, I guess it's kind of brown. Let me turn this light on. That's much better. I don't know why I didn't do that from the start. Yeah, this is kind of like an orangish brown. This reminds me of like fall leaves. This reminds me of leaves. See, look at the brown. Can you see that? Yes, you can. That's like, it reminds me of like the... Let's try blue and orange then. I can probably actually just pour this blue into the... Oh, this one has never been opened. Okay. I could probably just pour a little bit of this blue into the orangish brown color I've just created. Open. There we go. Get off my finger now. No, stop. Okay. Just a little bit, little squeeze. Oh, a little drop. There we go. Oh, that might have been a bit too much. Oops. It's turning green. I've created green. Actually, it's like a cyan color. Kind of like it. Look at my cyan color. Look at my cyan. I'm gonna keep mixing colors and see what happens. I'm going to keep mixing. Oh, it's turning like a lighter green. Green is not the eye color I want, but it might be the eye color I get. Usually, wolves have yellow eyes, not green eyes. This one also hasn't been opened. I don't paint on fabric a lot. Usually I just use acrylic paints. Oh, it has not been opened, but it has been exploded. That something tells me that's not very good. Oh, here, get off. I just took a bath. I don't want to get covered in paint. Probably should have done this before I took a bath, but my mom is about to go to bed and she will wake up to the shower running, so I don't know why I just poured orange into green and thought it would turn it brown. Hey, it's actually turning brown. Wait a minute. I just need a little more orange. So orange and green does make brown. I thought it was just orange and blue. Guess I was wrong. I need more orange though. Oh, maybe that was a bit too much orange. Hey, my color pile has gotten so big that you guys can see it now. Awesome. Then that means you guys can totally see that this is turning brown, right? Like, it's not just me. It's turning a little brown. Should I add more orange? Should I leave it like this color brown, or should I add more orange? This is like an army brown. It's like, it looks like camouflage right now. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it looks like camouflage right now. Interesting color mixing. Honestly, what if I just left it like that? What if I just leave like a little tint to it? I want a different brush though, because will this brush work? What brush do I want? This one. Give me this one. Oh, I almost dropped it. Okay. Yellow. Because I got green all in my previous yellow. There we go. And then what if I just mix some of this orange in there just to make the yellow a little darker? Do not fall. Oh my gosh. I swear if this brush falls into... Ooh. This is the perfect yellow for my project. Very golden. Okay. I need one of these eyes. No! Don't get in the paint splatter. What are you doing? Damn it. Do I have black? I do have black. Perfect. I need that. can I just go ahead and paint onto here? I do not have anything under this, and it's probably going to get on my table, but I do not care because I can wipe it up. We want to make these eyes very big because wolves have very big irises. Just canines in general do, actually. You look into a dog's eyes and you can't even see their eye whites because their irises are so big, so it's just like covering the entire space. I might need some more yellow. This is soaking up my paint surprisingly quickly. Usually with acrylic paints, it does not soak it up this much. My gosh, stop moving around. Stop moving around before I murder you. Anyway, this is my little eye. I need to do the other one, and then I need to add like some brown to it so it's not all like one color. Yay, I did it. Okay. I'm not going to try to make this too realistic, but this is what we have for both of them. I've done it to both of them. Let me show you the other one. I actually like this one better because this one, the lines are a bit cleaner. I need some black now. I don't know why there was so much black paint on that brush, but these are our eyes. This is what is gonna go in our eye spots. And I just gotta wait like 48 hours for that to dry. Oh my gosh. But this, we need to work on this now. This is much more important. I'm so excited. I forgot to plug in my hot glue gun. I'll be right back. This is hot now. My gosh, hurry up. Actually, while it's not too hot, I could probably show you how I do the nose. So, we're gonna add some glue if it'll come out. This is like, do I have more glue sticks? I have one. Oh, I see the whole pack over there. Good. I was about to say, I'm gonna need more than one glue stick to do this. Essentially, this might like try to leak through the holes, but essentially you're gonna start the tedious process of applying hot glue to this area until it builds up a nose. And what I'm actually probably gonna do is I'm gonna take some acrylic paint and like, once I've pretty much gotten the shape of the nose finished, I'm gonna paint over it with acrylic paint, and then I'm gonna do like one more layer of hot glue to make sure the acrylic paint isn't exposed. And just to make sure, just to turn it black, because I don't have anything to paint over this with, because all I have with me right now is like fabric paint. Okay, so now, now once you've gotten the basic shape of the nose, I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Let's see if I can get this to focus here. Oh my gosh, stop. Can you focus? I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I kind of have like this triangle shape going on. Oops. Triangle shape going on with it. You could probably see it better from the top. There you go. That's probably better. Once you've gotten that done, to get like the lines in the nose, like the line that goes through the middle, I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and I'm just going to hold the tip of it. I'm not pressing the trigger any. I'm just holding the tip of the gun to the nose so it kind of like melts the glue again around it. And I'm gonna come out with that little line there. Can you see that? Can you see that line? I don't know if you can see that. Same thing for the nostrils. Except this time, I'm just gonna kind of press the tip of the hot glue gun into the glue. Just press it into there on both sides. Not drawing any lines. But now we have two little nostrils. So we got one right there and right there. You can kind of see those a little better than the line, I think. Just trying to make sure the glue dries in the proper position. I think those are a little more visible than the line. I don't know. I cannot see right now. But now I am going to grab some paint. Some black acrylic paint. And paint over this. And then I'm going to put some more hot glue over top of it and see how that works out. I've never done this before. Usually, before I had air dry form clay. This stuff, it kind of comes out like foam. Before I had that stuff, I used to do hot glue noses like this, and I used to finish the whole nose and then paint over top of it instead of painting one layer under the top layer, because you really never know when the top layer is and stuff can shift around underneath. So I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I am going to try it and see how it goes, because I do not have any waterproof paint other than fabric paint, which is obviously not going to work on a plastic like glue. So we'll see how this goes. I'm actually not just going to paint the nose, I'm going to paint a little bit around the nose as well. It's still not dry, of course it's not dry. Are these dry? Ooh, these are kind of dry. They're not like dry, but they're not wet anymore. Look at the eyes. I actually kind of want to do like a little test. What does that look like? Oh, it looks awesome. Maybe I should have made the eyes a little bigger. The irises. I don't know. I feel like you're going to be able to see the eye whites too much. Maybe not. Maybe not. Trust the process. Actually, no, that's not too big, because once I put the fleece on it, I'm going to fold the fleece around the eyes, so it'll make them a little smaller anyway. So it's been like a whole 15 minutes and this thing still isn't dry, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue it. I'm going to go for it, because I am impatient and tired of waiting. I'm going to glue the parts that are dry first. I'm going to be honest, I did not think this would be working as well as it is. I just hope that the glue underneath doesn't melt too quickly and make the entire nose lose its form. But so far, and I hope the paint doesn't start like cracking up too because of it. But so far, it is looking good. Okay, this has come out so good. Look at that. Look at the nose. It's so shiny. It's so boopable. Okay, now I just need to wait for this to like fully cool down but this looks better than I thought it would. Turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Day 2. Everything is dry. Everything is dry now. Now all we have to do is just finish it up like a normal mask. I'm gonna grab my fleece because this is what I said I was using, and I'm going to cover the mask in fleece and make it into, give it like a fur texture. So, I mean, this is pretty much the same as making a paper mask, a normal paper mask. You do the same thing that you would do with that, with whatever material you would work with. You're just gonna kind of like cover over it, glue it to the base. Just a bunch of covering and gluing. I'm not gonna go too into detail about this. Just glue and cut. Very simple. And I'm also going to do the lining because this stuff, hot glue doesn't stick to this stuff very well, so I want to do the lining to give the fur, actually the fleece, something to actually stick to. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this glued on, and then we can get to painting. Also, another thing that I will mention is I'm going to be folding it over at both the snout and the eyes. So when you cut out the eyes, just fold the excess fabric over into the eye hole. I'll show you when I get there. Now, while I'm at this point right here, I kind of have everything glued. I have the snout glued and I have the nose bridge glued, but I don't have any of the rest of the face glued. Just to make it a bit easier on myself, I'm going to fold the fabric over the eye like this, like about halfway into the eye, as you can see here. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm just going to cut a little notch right there, right in the inside of the eye. Don't go all the way to the corner quite yet. But then, when we fold our fabric over, like this, we'll already have a hole where our eye is, so when we take our scissors, we can go ahead and just cut that out, and it's much easier than getting all the fabric up there first and then doing that later, so. Now, once you've pretty much gotten to this point, I'm gonna do the ears separately. If your ears are small enough, you can do them along with the rest of the mask, but my ears are just so big and just such an odd shape in general that the fabric was not gonna bend like that without any creases. So I had to cut the ears and do them separately, but if you can do your ears all together in one sheet, that's great, go for it. But now I've also kind of just folded over all the muzzle, as you can see, make it look like a nice clean line. This is how our mask is looking so far. And I also cut out around the nose. The nose kind of has like a little haze to it because the hot glue, when the hot glue cooled down a bit, it's not like the ultra clear sticks or whatever. Never mind, it says crystal clear, but they're still not quite that clear. It's just because it's so thick. Maybe I should do like a thinner layer next time if possible. But now we can cut the eyes. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut from one of these little holes that we've kind of already made. You're going to cut all the way to like the corner of the eye and then to the opposite corner of the eye. And then we're going to fold the rest of the fabric over. So now you're going to take your hot glue gun. Now you just fold them over just like that. I'm making a YouTube video on how to make a mask. Did I interrupt you? Okay, now that I'm finally done with felting this thing, it looks so good. I am going to use my wire dog brush, and I'm just going to brush the outside. You don't have to do this. I want to. Alright, now my mask has been brushed and now has a fur-like texture on it, which I think is so cool. The next thing we want to do, we don't want to put our lining in yet. I know I said we were doing a lining, but do not do the lining yet because we want to glue in the eyes first. Before we do the lining, we're going to glue in the eyes and we're going to glue on our straps. So I want to make our straps in our eyes. We're going to go ahead and glue those on. Now, just so you know, you're going to just, to measure the straps, put the mask on your face and hold like the strap on one side and like kind of wrap it around your head just to see how long you need it if you're measuring your straps. So just see how long you need the straps. Everyone's strap is going to be different, so I'm not going to put a measurement in the video. Okay, so this is what your mask should look like when you're done. Now you just need to line the inside. We're going to do that the exact same way we did the outside. So you don't have to brush it. If you brush the outside, you don't have to brush the inside because inside doesn't have to look like fur. I mean, it's going to be against your face. Nobody's going to see it anyway. You don't even have to paint the inside. I like to paint just under the mouth area, but I don't paint what touches my face. That's what I usually do. But I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of this off camera, and I'll see you back after that's done. Okay, the inside is officially lined. I did cut out the eye holes, and you're going to glue around the eye holes like very tightly just to make sure nothing comes up. And this is how it looks so far. I love it. But now it needs some paint because the wolf in my reference photo is not white. We need to paint this thing. And look at that, it's done. I really like how this turned out. Much better than my old one, I'd say. I love the comically massive ears on this. Anyway, that's how to make a waterproof mask. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And let me know how I did on the tutorial. This is the first tutorial I ever made, so should I talk less? I feel like I should talk less. I feel like I was talking way too much. I don't know, let me know. Do you like the talking? Would you prefer without talking? Would you prefer just just the necessity talking, or would you enjoy listening to me ramble about? I have no idea, but